Okay, hello and welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Let's continue with Magic and Mayhem. Also, this will probably be a shorter session tonight because there are some things which I have to do tomorrow. Might probably only go for like 2 hours or so. Last time we had done quite a few missions. I think like 6 or something. Yep, we're up to Carleon. And maybe 2 more after that. We might be able to finish it in that 2 hours. We'll have to see. Depends on how the how difficult the levels are. Let's see. What does it say about this? Also known as the City of the Legion, Carleon is a magnificent locale made up of several fine places with painted walls, golden roofs, and turrets ordained with flags. The cobbled streets once bustled with activity, as at one time attracting many people from far afield. To the east of the city flows the river Usk on its journey from the mountains. Also found here are fields of crops, orchards of fruit, and many encampments of pavilion tents where visitors once set up camp. Okay. What items do I have? We got dragons last time. Though, I was needing to spend more points in my mana because we didn't have enough to be able to cast dragon. What does it require to cast it? I think I was just off it. And dragon's the cheaper out of the two because we also had the champion of chaos and law. I think the champion of law costs the most, 197. They have a paralyzing ranged attack, and the champion of chaos costs 194. And it has a pestilence spit attack. Whereas the dragon has a fire breath attack, as you'd expect, and it costs 186. It also flies. Sounds like it's a better deal to me, but yeah, well. So we had 180. I'm 1 point off it. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'll spend that point now. And let's go on to Carleon. Okay. And we're under attack. Cornelius, I am so weak. Ariadne, you must fight for consciousness. Stay awake. Go, leave me to die. Everyone's so dramatic in this game. Death need play no part. I have deciphered the Emerald Tablet. I can cure you. We must find a holy place to perform the incantation. There is a church in this village. Then come quickly. Time is short. Okay. Everyone's all just like, I'm dying, leave me. It's like, ugh. Okay. Go and attack them. I'm gonna have to heal you the whole time. Because you've got poison. And I cannot remove that. Right, I guess we just have to find the church around here. Hey, there's a platform. Show yourself, Cornelius. My patience is wearing thin. Oh, it's Mordred again. We defeated him in the last level. This time you will find my courtesy all the harsher. No, that one's mine. Okay. So where are you going? Just going to make a loop around. Okay. Hang on. Do I have control over you? I do. Good. Okay. Oh, she's actually healing herself. Well, that's fine. You could just, like, stay around one of these, magical circles and, heal yourself for the rest of your life. That will work, won't it? Oh, hello. Okay. That was an illusion. Okay. Here's the church, I'm guessing. Ooh. Quite a few dudes down there. Okay, let's head back down there. Also, it seems like all those knights which I had rescued, it only mattered for the level in Camelot. Since none of them have joined us in this level. So, I read about the illusionary creatures last time. Apparently, the intelligence of creatures determines how quickly they get dispelled. Because they're like, oh, hang on, this thing isn't real. It's not dealing damage to me. Though apparently, even though they do deal damage until they're disbelieved. So, they're kind of like extra troops with random amounts of hit points. Which is kind of weird, honestly, in a lot of games with illusionary creatures. It just sort of goes, oh, they don't deal any damage at all. Because why would they? I think I have the real one here. If I could get rid of him now. There we go. Killed Mordred again. Ooh, he actually dropped an item. Mordred has dropped a silver item of magic, Cornelius. I know, I was just about to pick it up. Looks like an armlet. Silver. Okay. Just straight up silver. Cool. Okay. Let's go to the church then. You don't actually look like you're poisoned now. You cured yourself and you're no longer poisoned. Everything is turning out for the better. Let me get another point. I do have illusion myself. Yes, that's right. I can make illusionary copies of my own characters. I think they last forever? Until they're disbelieved. Though they can't hold points. I think so. I think they can't hold points. So while you can kind of make an army of them, you can't like get map control with them. I think they also can't pick up items. It's no good. The door is locked. The villagers must have secured it against the overlord. Speak to the villagers, Cornelius. They may have the key. What villagers? Ariadne, stay by the church. Lancelot, guard her with your life. Okay. You can just hang around there. I guess we've got to find a hut with a dude in it or something. I hope the villagers weren't these red caps. We've been killing them. Because they're throwing rocks at me. It's a little thingy. Over there, perhaps. That looks kind of important. I'm glad Ariadne is actually hanging around where she's supposed to be. Sometimes a bit of worried that I'm going to be like just waiting around for the AI to just wander into the position where it's needed to. Okay, maybe over here? Don't make me have to start burning some buildings down. I don't actually have lightning, so... I have chain lightning, that should work. Over here, perhaps. This looks different. In here? Oh, sir, can you help me? We must get into the church. Young lot. I would, but the password has changed, and no one has told me what the new one is. Except this bottle of wine, for your refreshment. Thanks? What about in here? Hello? Please, I must gain entrance to the church. Now let's see. I'll be damned if I can remember the password. Go speak to Younglot. Itchy beard. Here, I can only offer this bread in recompense. Thanks, but Younglot didn't know. Unless the password is wine. Stop that. Ow. I'm so close to being able to summon the dragon. It's kind of annoying. Hello. I'm guessing you don't have the password either. I'm not talking to you. Be nice if they had, like, exclamation marks above their head, so I know that these are ones which I can talk to. Some kind of indication would be nice, rather than just, you know, because I'm walking into these houses and sometimes I'm thinking, is the trigger going off to cause the dialogue to occur? I have no way of knowing. Oh. Let's haste myself. I must be allowed into your church. Ungther. Only those that hold a password can open the door. I am not privy to it, but speak to my neighbors. They may know. This pie, it will sustain you on your journey. Pie. Thank you. Can I get in here, please? Maybe I can see in through one of the windows? I say, hello. Wish to, gain entrance into your church. Likewise, I wish I could, like, click on the doors to have him open it. I sort of have to run him into it. and there's no indication whether the door... That one seems to be locked, so I guess I can't go in there. But it looks the same as all the other doors. Anyone in there? Nope. Okay, what about down here? Hello? You don't have anything to say. There is another house down here. Let's go have a look at this. Come on. Go inside. If possible. Is it not? I guess it's not. Over here, perhaps. I must have access to the church. You sound in fearful need, stranger. Speak the words "siege perilous" at the church door. Okay. My eternal thanks, kind sir. Thank you. Okay, let's go and let's go and open this church. Ariadne, you need to be over here. Okay, now that I have it, let's save. In case, like, oh, I don't know, the Overlord shows up and decides to cast lightning on everyone again. Siege perilous. Come, Ariadne, we must get you to the altar. Yeah, my knights will go first. Cornelius, think again, I beg you. Use not the Grail on Ariadne. Your need is greater. So you say, yet she, not I, stands at the door of death. If its power is true, I will use it for myself later. Your stubbornness will be your undoing one of these days, Cornelius. Cornelius, if I die, note this, you have captured my heart even against my will. Your will is strong, Ariadne. Use it now to live. I will recite the incantation above the Grail wherein lies the fleece.
Okay. Okay.
Tabula smaragdina, immortal breath of Trismegistus. Invigorate this lapis elixir. For I am every dead thing in whom love wrought alchemy anew. Thou wilt possess the glory of the essence of all things. Obscurity be driven from thee. Secretorum as above, so below. Oh, I am healed! Hooray! Yet more than that, never have I felt so full of vigor. This is a truly wonderful thing, Cornelius. Come, I will perform the same incantation for you. Ariadne, it is no good. The fleece has crumbled to dust, and the luster is gone from the Grail. Oh, Cornelius, I have taken what was rightfully yours. No one could have known what would happen. My path now is clear, to defeat the Overlord before his army marches on my world. But that was kind of our goal the whole time, wasn't it? Well, no, I suppose he was... It's decided now that that's his goal. I will stay by your side, Cornelius. Together we shall prevail. You would stay with me, an old man? Can you love that which is so close to death? Well, you were close to death just a few moments ago. An old man with the eyes of a boy. I treasure what time we have left, and so to Anglesey with all speed. Okay. Let's go. Well, maybe there is only one more mission in this game. I mentioned earlier in the series that there's actually a sequel to this game, which may have been the one that I played a demo of years and years ago. This is what kicked off the whole thing. I was thinking about this vague memory I had of a game I played the demo of on one of my PC Power Play magazine CDs. I probably still have it around here somewhere. I could probably find the demo if I bothered to look for it. I did organize them all like last year, so it should be pretty easy. Anyway, yeah, and some people suggested this game from my vague memories of it. I'm still kind of in the air as to whether it was the game I was thinking of. Mostly because I have this image of a particular item in the game, which I can't see in this one. And, you know, that is like, how many years between when I played the demo and now? It's just like bad memory compiled upon bad memory of a hazy image in my mind. It was some kind of like green blobby thing, which I think was like a slime mold or something like that. It had, at least the game had the similar mechanic of like combining items to cast spells, though I kind of feel like it was something you did in the level itself, not in the in-between part of the levels. It could have been the sequel to this, but I looked at screenshots of that, and none of the items in that game looked like what I was thinking of either, so I have no idea. It's interesting when this happens. It's like trying to hunt down something and end up being able to find it. You're like, oh, yes, that's it. All this time. There was one game like there's only the one level. Maybe, unless this one. There was, going on a bit of a segue again, there was another game which I was having trouble remembering years and years ago because I would play it with a friend of mine. It was a, what would you say? It was a cartoony 2D, sort of beat 'em up game like Street Fighter, where you would choose your characters and you would fight each other in an arena. And I remembered it because you played as various animals, little animals, and they would transform into a robot version of themselves. And it was, I think eventually it was called like Battle Beasts or something like that, and it was a Windows 95 game, which I think came with Windows 95. Not very good, but I always remembered it because I liked playing as the purple rat in it, and it had a block attack, which was a hunk of cheese would appear around him, and he'd turn into a big sort of robotic rat. So, an interesting game. I think it was kind of vaguely of that like 90s gross out type of humor as well in parts, because I think you were like going down sewers and into like rubbish dumps and so on, but I don't remember anything about the story. I know you could play as a rabbit, you could play as a rat. I think there was a pig you could play as. There might have been a dog. And maybe a few other characters. But yeah. So, that was one which I was like, vague memories, and people were able to find what the game I was thinking of was. There's a few other ones, but, extremely vague memories, and it's even less helpful what I can remember, so it's no luck in that regards. There's at least two which I'd still like to be able to find what they were. You must prepare body and mind for the final assault on Dinas Embreth, Cornelius. The Overlord awaits, nurturing his power. The odds weigh heavily against us, but we're probably just gonna mutually ensure destruction by casting spells at each other until we collapse from old age. Do not neglect your allies, Cornelius. No man can stand alone against the might we face. Actually, I just remembered something. But where are these allies now? The knights at the round table defend Camelot. Tweedkindle, last seen in Aegea, and Gargantua has discovered a deep-rooted fear of wizards. I think that's a giant which was mentioned, but I don't think I ever saw him. Yet the moment is ours. All across the lands of Avalon, Aegea, and Albion, your stand against the Overlord is known. You have come so far. Few believed it possible while they suffered under his tyranny. But it is called Barren Place. There is nothing to help us here. You are mistaken. Hidden in a tower is a truly powerful artifact, the Drum of Convocation. Find it and leave this place with all haste. What will this drum do? Beat the drum, and in an instant, all your creatures will be summoned to your side. This could turn the tide in our favor, yet in the face of such power, will it be enough? It is not power, but the ability to wield it wisely that will promote victory. We need haste as well as wisdom. What other delights can we expect to encounter on this isle? It is a breeding ground for the forces of the Overlord, most noticeably his horde of dragons. Yeah, I need to spend those points to be able to summon my own. But we procrastinate, and the army amasses yonder. Okay, let me just load again, because I want to spend those points in my mana, so I can summon dragons. Hello! Welcome, welcome, Wex. These are going well. So there, I spent some mana. Oh, I spent some experience points, and let's go read that again, because it was so good. Oh, we'll just skip past it. I get the feeling there might be one more level after this. I don't know. Yep. There we go. Okay. You've run out of clever ways to twist this game's name. Well, good. Just as well that we are apparently reaching the end of the game. Ooh. Just keep spawning there. It's kind of nice. Yeah, wow, they're on a short cooldown. I keep when I'm thinking of this game myself, I keep getting mixed up with magic and what's it called, might and magic. So two games with M&M in their names. Oh, jeez. Just need a big handful of M&Ms. Okay, let's summon a dragon. There we go. Gonna have to wear my own army of dragons. Okay, so up there. Well, there's a dragon. No! Leave me alone! Go for the dragon, not me. I'm just an old man. I'm not tasty at all. Ah! Okay. I can actually sit down here and just get all of these mana sprites and build up an army that way. Oh, yeah, what's his name isn't with us? Lancelot? No. The knight who was... Was it Lancelot? Was it another knight? I forget who our allies were. Anyway, that knight dude who was with us isn't with us anymore. We told him to guard the church in the last level, but we didn't tell him to stop guarding it, so he's still standing there. I wonder when they'll be back. This will at least be good. Like, perhaps he'll just be busy hanging around in here. I won't have to worry about you, wandering off and dying. Okay. I could just summon, like, 25 dragons. Again, the loop around levels is kind of weird because I don't have lightning, so I won't be able to get rid of those. It's like you're supposed to go up the hill here against all these barricades, but you could just go behind where you spawn. I have to assume these will run out at some point. It's nice she's casting Excalibur on all of my knights.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
There was a spell which some of the characters had, which I learnt about, or which I had in my grimoire, but I never actually found the hold on. The last level I picked up an item and I didn't even have a look at what it did. I forgot about it, no! Okay. I'm going to load, and I want to have a look at what it is. It was silver. I'm getting so eager because we're close to the end. There we go. A highly prized metal found either as small ingots or articles of jewelry, as well as coins and other forms of treasure. Silver is also useful as a conductor of electricity, more conductive in fact than copper. When inserted into the correct talisman, silver may also empower a magic user with the ability to judge others. Provides the spell judgment, does it? Armageddon, is it? Apocalypse. A huge explosion affecting all terrain and creatures caught in the blast. Teleport. Immediately teleport your wizard to the desired location. Judgment. Summon a symbol of law that will explode any nearby enemy creatures that fail a magic resist test. Okay. Though I think dragons and the creatures of champions of chaos and law have pretty high magic resistance. Yeah, 50. 50. And dragons have 45, so. Okay. Interesting, but yeah, I don't think it's something which I would have particularly used. Apocalypse, maybe. But yeah, there was a spell that I had in here, but I didn't find the item for, which was Earthbind. At least I don't think I did. That would be useful against the dragons. No. There are some points which I missed out on some levels, so there might be items which I actually just completely missed.
Okay.
Maybe they were lying around the landscape. Maybe there was a wizard which I didn't end up defeating. Okay, let's go up here. Nope. Oh yeah, there's also the thing about the knights in that they sort of specifically go for dragons. Or at least enemy dragons. That's not good. You're not supposed to be in there. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, you're actually following me now. Okay. Go up here. There is dragons in there. And there's brownies on the battlements. In little thingies. This tower's actually shooting fireballs at me. It's like these heads on the wall, is it? I guess get rid of the brownies and they'll stop shooting fireballs at me. That'd be nice. I think one of my dragons died. Or maybe not. Yeah, cast another healing fountain. Need to keep our dudes in tip-top shape. Also, I don't have fly.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get back there. The dragons actually have a bit of difficulty getting to the brownies because they're in these tiny alcoves they can't actually walk into. I didn't mean to get in the front there. I'm guessing he's just going to be summoning these constantly. Ah, okay. There's the front gate.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone's got the plague.
Okay.
Now no more.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes. Kind of, we need to, like, retreat back down the mountain. Jeez. Everyone, you're going for a trip. That didn't help you at all. It just dumped you, along with the two which I... My plan went awry. Such as it was. Reload. Okay. So... I'll pick up a bunch of these. I might just sit here and build up my forces. Takes a lot of these mana sprites now to... heal up my creature, to heal up my, well, to replenish my mana. Sorry, I'm trying to heal my creatures. I think words mixed up. You could bury the champions of chaos. Do they count as undead? I thought they just sort of... Well, I thought they were living. How many of these can I hold? Go there. Nice that you're spending the mana to heal my troops. That's nice. With these damn champions of chaos just spitting pestilence everywhere. Okay, let's head out. These healing statues don't actually they just heal health. They don't actually remove pestilence. Oh. I was wondering why pestilence was being around so much. And to think I was afraid we wouldn't get to see dragons on our side at all. We just get all the dragons. And the sound of flies. I know the mana sprites regenerate my mana faster than a place of power, but I feel like maybe giving me a place of power would have been a good move too. Guess maybe because it makes the assault a little bit more intense because you can run out of mana. Hmm. Oh, that one's the enemy. It's hard to tell. I kind of wish they had like different colored stripes on them.
Okay.
So it's easier to tell who's the enemy's troops and who's the friendly ones.
Okay.
It takes like 6 of these to get back up to full mana. Or to get enough mana to cast another dragon. Okay, let's see. I want those 2 knights under 3 and my dragons. They can all fly over here. Let's save before we do this. Because we've got quite a few. So I don't want to, like, lose them all. There's actually a portal in there, so it's not... This is not like the final final confrontation. They're chewing through them pretty quickly. So if there isn't a mage here... Let me think. I use Inferno to get rid of those towers. Don't actually know. Thinking I'm going to need lightning. Does judgment affect my own creatures? No. It only affects enemy creatures. Okay. Let's have a look at what we've got. Fountain of Life. I guess it's pretty cheap to cast. I don't think I need Excalibur because he's casting Excalibur on my troops. Judgment, yeah. Chain Lightning, that can hurt my own troops. So I kind of think it's not that useful. Meteor Shower. If we're using dragons, I'm going to get rid of griffins. Disenchant. Well, they're not enchanting themselves. We'll keep illusion. Ornithopter, while dragons can already fly. Where's lightning? Oh, lightning's fountain of life. Okay, get rid of basilisks. Skeletons aren't going to be useful. Let's get Ornithopter, because that will let me fly. And I wonder whether Wraiths would be useful, because they're invisible until they attack the enemy. And they're not affected by plague. And there's not a mage casting spells, it seems. Yeah, let's try that. I am kind of feeling towards the end of the game that the weaker units in the list, they've kind of been left behind. Which is just something which is easy to happen in a lot of games, because you build up later creatures are more powerful. And they have more health and they deal more damage, so kind of need the quality of them more than quantity. Okay. Let's try this again. I do have some of my magical items. I can make myself invisible. I have the boots of speed, even though I have haste spell. Has that campiform bell as well, and the glasses of vision to see through walls. I wonder whether these respawn endlessly, or they just have like a really high number of respawns. Okay, just hover around there. I still get some knights because those are useful in this beginning fight. I was going to say, could I please cast this spell? Okay, head out there. The front gate's right there. Well, that makes it easier. Again, I do like how the levels are sort of randomly generated.
Okay.
So now we're just going to have a massive battle on our front doorstep. Sounds fine to me. Kind of. Okay, so that got rid of at least one of them, I think.
Okay. Okay.
That killed one of them.
Okay.
I still wonder whether there's a limited number of enemies or whether they just keep respawning. If there's not a mage, then I wouldn't think they keep respawning, but... Just instant death is pretty nice. And only for the enemies too. Feels a little cheap, but well,
Okay.
with so many of them, I'm not going to complain.
Okay.
I was afraid of that. That gate's now open. No. Bad creatures.
Okay. Okay.
If anything, I'll be able to like kill them faster than they're respawning. Now get back here. We've got one of the trolls in here. That must mean that they're running out of troops.
Okay.
That one just spawned in. Okay, so there is someone spawning creatures. Good, that got rid of those two. Go deal with that one. Please die. The fact that it's not a guaranteed kill means that it's not as overpowered as you'd think, but... all my guys are dead. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something. You can go under 3. Right. Knights. Fly up to here. If you may. They're small enough to go in through the windows. Okay. I guess I could just make a beeline for the portal. It's not like I need to really clear out all the enemies and all that. I mean, if they're constantly respawning, then casting Ornithopter, if I had it Iron Skin and just flying in with haste would be. That makes sense.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Especially without those fireballs shooting at me now. No, I didn't mean to do that. This is pretty cool. Just being able to fly around. Casting fireballs at things, or lightning bolts at things. Mage style drive-bys. Flybys? That's neat. I need some more mana though. Okay, now let's get back up there. Because there is one more Guardian statue. Where are you? Ah, I see. You're having problems leaving the facility. You nearly died. That would have been quite the waste. Okay, I guess I can just go through the portal now. Bye, dragon! I said bye, dragon. Dragon.
Okay.
There we go. Ariadne then ran through after me. 0 out of 30 points. Okay, so there was something to do there. I'm interested. What was there? take over the entire castle? Maybe there is something hidden on the map somewhere. Let's have a look. Here's something. Ooh. Yeah, okay, there's a chest there. It's a big old maze, okay. Well, let's give it a try. This way. This one? This one. This one. This one. This one. Okay, we're back here. This one now. We're back here. This one. This one? Okay, this one in the corner. Okay. Is there a pattern to these? That one teleports me to there. That one teleports me to there. That one teleports me over to here. This one here teleported me to there. So I want to get to this one here. No. Okay, so that one doesn't teleport me into there. What about this one? Okay, there. This one teleports me to outside. What about this one? Over to there. This one's up to there. What about this one here? Aha! I have the drum, Ariadne, to the portal. Oh yeah, we were here to get that, weren't we? I kind of forgot about that. Okay, let's go to the portal then. You don't need to make it to the portal, so I'm just going to go through myself. Oh, my ornithopter broke. Okay, there we go. Not too tricky of a puzzle. Maze. Do like mazes. There we go. Okay, ooh, yeah. Dinas Embris. Okay, let's save. Yep. And can I get any more mana points? No, I cannot. What should I spend it on? Not hitting my creature limit. Maybe hit points? I guess. Let's get some more hit points. Also, I am just going to take a brief break, so I will pause the recording here, and I'll be back in a moment. So don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back. You think you would have loved Magic and Mayhem back in the day? It's a very... I do enjoy the game quite a lot. The mechanics are very interesting. I like all the description behind things. The way the spells are done are interesting. I have to say, I'm not terribly gripped by the plot. I feel the game would have been stronger if it had created its own world, rather than sort of relying on mythological mashup. Because, I don't know, it just kind of feels... I feel it's hard to like have your own creations sort of mixing up with known mythological characters, because either it's going to be referencing things which you don't know, which I don't know much about Arthurian legend, and my knowledge of Greek mythology is, well, like age mythology and brief readings, or you're going to be noting that characters are kind of like acting out of character, like a lot of the Knights of the Round Table, with Galahad ending up turning into a ending up turning into a vampire, or Merlin being the big bad of the game, which is like, okay. So, I mean, you know, they're free to have, like, their interpretations of the game, but of the characters, but I don't know whether it works well. Would it give them more wriggle room, at least? Yeah, I just feel it would be interesting to have their own, like, setting for it. Rather than that. Anyway, but I really do like all this. It's fun having to mix and match your spells and, trying out different things and seeing how it works and all that. There's quite a large variety of spells, too. It's interesting also having to make do without some things. Because if you swap it over for something, you won't get two of the other spells which it can provide. Some of them, like Cure, is just, I find I always need this. In the beginning, I didn't. Because there wasn't such powerful magic being cast around. But now Cure is, like, from like about the end of the first third of the game to now, it's kind of required because there's poison, there's pestilence, and you're just going to be casting Cure on people all the time. Especially in the levels where Ariadne was poisoned, and I could cast Cure on her to sort of extend the timer until she died. That was, made it kind of a huge necessity. So I didn't really get to play around with the other two spells here. Fireball, which is also kind of needed to get rid of those totems, or Raise Dead, which is very situational, and I don't think the payoff is too much for it. You can cast it on enemy creatures and raise them to raise them from the dead. They'll actually count as undead themselves. Or you can cast it on gravestones and get undead creatures that way. But not every map has gravestones, and I guess you'd be getting creatures for cheaper by casting Raise Dead on them, but you have to kill them first. Anyway. Let's go over here. This is it, the final conflict. The time of reckoning is upon us, Ariadne. It will be a tale told down the ages. Perhaps, or perhaps the tale will die here with us. Last night my dreams were so vivid, terrible visions, wasteland as far as the eye could see. The only living things, hideous vile beasts of corruption, devouring all before them. This wasteland I saw, it was my home, my world, Bohemia, Tyrol, Vienna, Paris. But it was as you said, Cornelius, a vision, a projection of your darkest fears. Have courage, my love, I have faith in you. Hear me, Cornelius. Focus your mind. Think of nothing but the battle to come. Concentrate. Meditate. If death be my destiny, then so be it. I will stand my ground and fight to my last breath. For freedom. That's a grand castle. Behold, Cornelius, the Tower of Chaos, a fraction of my domain. Witness the power I possess. It is not yet too late for you, Cornelius. The power of the Grail is yours to share. And joke's on you, we've already used it. Together we will rule all creation. With Ariadne as your queen, what a dynasty you will create. No man will be your equal. Yet you are a slave to your own corruption, with all the power you wield even now. What has it brought you but misery and conflict? Hey, there's a bunch of trolls there. Oh, that's the Gargantua. Or whatever his name is. The yeah, Gargantua. The I think he's supposed to be a giant, but he's a troll here. Wait, Cornelius, we're here to offer you our aid. I know that rumbling voice. Gargantua. I don't think we've ever met him before. Might have been at one level, but okay, yay. Yeah, we did. because we spawned in the troll village. But they were hostile to me, so I either enslaved them or attacked them all. Okay. Maybe that was the level where they were supposed to talk to you and you were supposed to team up with them, but that might be why I didn't get some points. If I missed out on some points for that level, I don't know. Also, I do think the game sometimes tries and does a little bit too much that its engine's able to cope with. Okay, he's got a castle festooned with skulls. So what's this drummer convocation supposed to do? I guess I'll be told to use it at some point. Keep the troll with the crown alive, I guess.
Okay.
There's a friggin' totems of pestilence. Delightful. And there's a roof above it. Okay. I don't think I can use... No, I can't use magic. I can't use magic sphere to get rid of it. Kind of a pain. Oh wow, you really just charged all the way over there. Oh hey! He's come out to fight us himself. Maybe I won't have to fight him. Took my point. Maybe I won't have to hunt him down, rather.
Okay.
I'm missing all those mana sprites I had in the last level. What's he got? He's got like a big sword. Or it's like a big pointy staff or something like that. I don't have any points of power now, so, well, nuts to me. Oh, that actually summoned some knights. Oh no, that summons all my creatures to me. That's what he said it did. Okay. It didn't summon the trolls to me though. Let's do this again. Yep. I mean, if you'll come and fight us down here, then, you know, we'll, then, okay, we'll take these two and we'll leave the other one for, Ariadne. Let's not take all of them. Hang on. I feel like I should hang around here and reinforce this position. we go. Okay, they can't be right next to each other. They have to be at least a square apart, it seems. They're actually beating... They're actually beating up the, No! They're actually beating up the, Overlord. Well. That did give me a game over for him dying, so, let's summon a bunch of wraiths. What are you doing? He's actually plagued. I wonder whether that will kill him. I doubt he counts as undead. Hey, skeletons. I mean, if you've just got hit points, I can reduce them. If it has hit points, we can reduce them. There's a quote for the ages. Oh, the bell stuns everyone. Okay. I'm having to remember what these items I picked up many levels ago do. You can't beat me. I have chaff. And you don't seem to have cure. You fought well, Cornelius, but not well enough. We will meet again at the Tower of Neutrality. I have no strong feelings one way or another. Okay. I reign supreme over the forces of law and chaos. Their manifestations lend me new form. Now the middle path between law and chaos. The all-embracing green magic of neutrality. Oh, look. Brownies. Cornelius, I hope I'm not too late, I hope. Twin Kindle, I don't believe it. My old ally, I'm glad to see you. Okay, so we're gonna have to beat him like 3 times or something? Or maybe twice? Well, you're going to die. Tell my wife hello. Sir, it's a beige alert. I love the fact that those videos on YouTube, after so many years, still have a completely even like and dislike to them. It is just... It warms my heart that people can work towards such a common goal. Every now and then it may, you know, go out of balance, but people restore balance. It's extremely satisfying. Help me, Cornelius. Yes, yes. Oh, why'd you go all the way up there? You're being a dummy. They do? Nice. Yeah, they do. There's like, I think like the main viewed ones, there's like at least 2. The biggest one I think is, you know, I have no strong feelings one way or the other. At least last time I checked they do. I would assume that's still the case. Ariadne, you're going to get yourself killed. Not on my watch, though. Quick, heal! I'm assuming I have to keep her alive? I don't actually know. Neutral, the way all things should be. Okay, cool, cool. I'm actually kind of surprised that skeletons are being so useful. Okay, head down here. She's going this way. Now, just got to take that back again. Oh well. Maybe I can take those? Do I have my points at the beginning again? At the beginning still? I do. Okay. Some of the skeleton there. Since we're so close to these, oh, there's wraiths on them. Of course. Since they're so close to these statues of pestilence. There we go. Oh, you're actually gone all the way back there. Okay. Also welcome. Oh, what a time to go. Blech. Well, nuts. Whatever. No, Twig Kindle. I saved your back. I saved your butt so many times. I couldn't save your butt this time. Good. I'm glad that worked. It'd been a heck of a time for it not to. Okay. Let's go up here. So what do I do about these gates? I can't open them. I'm guessing we have to, like, fight through this level peeling it like a banana. Or like an onion or something, you know, layer by layer. All the skeletons. Oh yeah, Ariadne, could you, like, bestow Excalibur upon all of my skeletons, please? I have set the ground on fire. Well. Okay, so, yeah, the gate there is closed. Do I have to go through that central area up here? I really don't want to. There's a whole bunch of those, guardian statues there. And they killed my skeletons down here. Not surprising. If the, Overlord could come and fight me again, I'm sure I could make room for him amongst my skeletal horde. Pestilence statues are actually working against him there. Ooh, hello. You're right there. Well now. Yeah, how do you like it when I do it? Ha! Don't have any troops now. Ow! Ow. Ow. Dodge! This might end poorly. Yeah. Okay, so he's just down there. Let's go over here and down this hall. That way we can maybe kill that dragon on the way. That plan seemed like it would work pretty well. Oh, hello. Oh, he's cast invisibility on the dragon. Let me cast illusion on my skeletons. Because the illusions still deal damage. And it might be cheaper than casting skeleton. Oh, there he is. Did I kill you? No. I think I did a lot of damage to you. Oh, yeah. If you could please stop, like, confusing my skeletons and levitating them away. It can't be invisible forever. There he went. Okay, good, good. He's on fire. He'll be taking damage from that. And my skeletons. Cast another chain lightning. And another. How's Ariadne going? She's standing over there. Okay. She's got a point. She should be able to cast Cure on herself. He's actually within range of my two guardian statues up there. Yes, go up the steps. He is nearly dead. Run away! Ah! Gonna have to chase me up here. You might end up just dying from the plague. No, my knight. Let's make ourselves invisible. I have to stand on one of these now because I... There we go. Ah, thwarted once more. My powers mutate once more. Blech. Are you going to become like a giant gribbly monster? I offer you one final chance, Cornelius. I would not wish to slaughter my kin. Oh no. Join my kingdom, bask in its glory. All I desire is your loyalty. My son. Really? Oh, look, it's my uncle. By the gods, Lucan, but you're dead. How? Well, we do have Ray's dead. The gates of the spirit world can be forced open for a short time, Cornelius. Stand aside, brother. This is nothing to you. You cannot help Cornelius now. He is your brother, Lucan? Does he speak true? Please not. Merlin was my adopted brother. We had our differences. Okay, for not. He had Arthur banish me from Albion. But who is my father? And what of my mother? Your mother was Vivian, the woman I once loved. Woman I once loved. After your birth, she betrayed me. I believe that's the Lady of the Lake. Lucan knows this to be true. Cornelius, I am your father. They're just going straight into it. They know what they're doing. Fine. No, Merlin. Vivian betrayed you long before she bore Cornelius. But you cannot mean... No! Yes, I am the father of Cornelius by Vivian. A fact concealed until this day. Oh, okay. Your identity was kept secret, Cornelius, in order that my work would be free from Merlin's attentions for as long as was possible. No! Deceived! Everyone's just, like, slapping down their own, like... You know, their own winning hand here, one after the other. Surely you can savor the bitter irony, Overlord. You who would deceive the world, so tricked by your own half-brother. You will not live long enough to revel in your hollow victory. Okay. Well now. Yeah, there's a dragon down there. There's a lot of story at least. Yeah, I mean... It's got a lot of hit points. You're still summoning bats, Uncle. You could probably have done something a little bit better than that, considering what we're up against. I mean, bats versus dragons. Oh, it's actually gotten tired of sitting on the point. I'm gonna have to build up my forces again. Looks like he's actually coming down this way. Did I save after that? I don't think I did save after that cutscene. I should have. There we go. I'm kind of impressed at how well the skeletons are able to deal with the dragon there. Uncle! Dad! I don't know if you should be wandering around in there. Oh well, all we have to do is defeat you. You have stone skin now. Okay. I mean, father's already dead, so if he dies again, well, it's not like keeping him alive is going to be important for the level. Uncle, how are you going? Father. I wonder if he can catch plague. I guess you can have that. Ow. Ow. Right. Ornithopter, when it runs off you, wears off you, take falling damage, don't you? Okay, I'm gonna reload this. Let's see. So we got the dragon here. We've got those points. Let's try and build up our forces here for when he comes down this way. Okay, because we've got 3 points here. That's pretty good. It's actually wandering around over there now. There is 2 there. I guess see if you could take them, since it doesn't look like he's going this way. Can I fly into the castle anywhere? Through the gates. I don't know about those windows. Those ones have bars on them. These ones look like they're too narrow. See if I can take shortcuts around the place. There we go. Bonk. Uncle, how goes it? Not too well. Who would have thought wandering off on your own would be, wouldn't be the winning tactic? Could I get to you within time? Maybe. You are kind of just down the hall. I would prefer if you didn't die. Another mage to help fight would be is useful. Okay, so you're nearly up to full health. Good luck against those dragons. How's my areas out here? My skeletons have been killed.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh, hey, Father, you're just down there with a dragon on your tail. Oh, here comes a knight. uh.
Okay.
Yeah, the skeletons really do pretty good damage. Even still. Okay, so Ariadne's over there.
Okay.
About turn.
Okay.
It's actually out here now. Okay, they haven't taken those. Okay, okay. He's up there now, taking those points. Right. Kind of just need to own most of these points for a time myself. Long enough that I would have faster mana regeneration. So I can start, he still hasn't gotten rid of my, totems up there. Okay, so I think we've got 4 now? Yeah, 4. I don't really want to be paralyzed right now. Please. You're not being too useful, since you haven't gotten a point. You're not... You're just running around without any mana. Funnily enough, that's not terribly helpful. Oh, well. Aw, really? Okay. I guess I have to keep her alive. Let's sit here for a moment and build up an army. We can. Okay, so he's coming down this way now. I am glad that the AI does do different things when I reload. Otherwise, it would be kind of just... I don't know. I feel it would be a bit of a struggle. Because it would be like, oh, how am I going to... You know, I just sort of have the... I would just sort of have the same problem over and over again. Damn it. I should probably just focus on killing him. That's the goal of it. Everything else is secondary. I mean, aside from keeping Ariadne alive. think he's just sitting over there. Yeah, he is. Okay. Try again. Let's see. So, what's my problem? He sends... Last time it was a flying griffin, which just started taking apart the points I had under control. Looks like they're all focusing up there. Kind of the thing. It's just skeletons are... They're cheap, but they're not... And they're good in melee, but they tend to die when you tell them to do anything else. I just build up a whole bunch of mana and spammed skeletons all around. All around him. No, I could just do that. Bye. There goes your forces. Okay, so if it starts building up too many forces again. If I get enough for judgment. That's what I was afraid of. It was either cast a whole bunch of skeletons, which, well, the unicorn dealt with them, or cast one knight and this guy's going to keep him paralyzed. Hmm.
Okay.
No! My cloak of visibility is worn off. Hmm. And this is kind of the situation as it was before. That was a nice amount of death I caused with that spell. I think there's a unicorn coming down this way. Nope. Those two. Okay. Hmm.
Okay.
I shall create illusions. I mean, you could just dispel them, but... Eh. There we go. My illusion killed the knight. I do kind of wish I had another flying unit aside from dragons. I think I got too used to the idea that I would have heaps and heaps of mana after the last level. But it's all just a... I get these three. Then what? It's kind of just a big merry-go-round. I go from one room, get the points there, go to another room, get the points there. I mean, there's a dragon there. I need like 4 skeletons to get rid of that. There's something there, perhaps. Let's load again. Okay, so... summon you there. You lot... let's go down here. Or maybe you can go down there. I will go up here. Try and save father. Oh, there's a dragon there. Got rid of a number of them. I don't think it's going to help him much. And I'm going to die. Yeah, that's not working. Dying's bad for your health. Yeah, kind of. A little bit. Doctors would not recommend. Okay. I could use flying griffins. Oh, pff. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had that spell as well. He's like, oh, I only whip it out for special occasions. It's just trying to get some of these points without... I don't particularly want my uncle father to die because, again, it's sort of... It's an extra target. Right.
Okay.
Well, you're dead. That's going to be a reload anyway. I can cast heats and heats of skeletons, but it's not really going to help me.
Okay.
And then he casts Dispel. Or that, rather. Again. I can cast illusion on him? How does... Oh, they disappear as soon as they're spawned. Okay. His intelligence is probably really, really high, so it just, like, instantly dispels them as soon as I cast it. I would assume they can't cast spells. Oh, no, they can't, because, yeah. Because I can cast illusion on myself, and they just run around. Considering what I've seen of characters of you know, them summoned by other mages. Let's just inundate the area with these. I mean, it's constant damage. He doesn't attack them directly. Yeah, that will work. Maybe I could just, like, get him trapped and confuse the bejeebers out of him. They don't do that much damage, but it's constant damage, and he doesn't have he doesn't have cure. Oh, skeletons. I might have to come back to this level next time. I hate to leave it with the last level being unfinished, but I did have to finish up earlier tonight because of some things I have planned for tomorrow. The spirit plane beckons Cornelius. Remember all that I have taught you, and all that you were to me. You let undead Lucan die. Okay, so I do have to keep him alive as well. Fine. It's okay, don't feel bad, feel super terrible instead. I mostly at the moment just feel confused. That's I think a pretty good thing to leave it on for tonight. Okay, good to know. I have to keep my undead father Lucan alive to be able to win the level. It's nice that it's proving to be a challenge. And this also gives me a chance to overlook my spells again. Dragon. It would be useful once I start taking points, but that's the problem, taking points. Illusion isn't really helping because... This sounds stuttering. Yeah, I just have to put up with it. I'm not going to reload the game just now for that. Even though that's nice, Skeleton's about as cheap. Actually, it's as cheap as Skeleton, it seems, so... Invisibility might be more useful. Guardian Statue? That could work. I could have Fear Statue. Repels enemy creatures if they fail a test of bravery. That would help keep things like griffins away, maybe. I don't know. Do griffins have high... Do griffins have high bravery? 38. So yeah. What about knights? 50. Unicorns. 6. So to keep them away. What about champions? 47. 47. Okay. What else was he summoning? That was about it, really. He was summoning griffins. Yeah, what was it? Griffins, knights, and the occasional champions. And unicorns. Ornithopter, I think, is the most useful. Inferno, fire does deal a lot of damage over time. So that could be useful. Storm's not useful because we're inside. For the majority. The majority of the map is inside, so I think utility-wise it's not that useful. Knight or vampires? The knight's cheaper, and the knight's tough. Vampires do heal on hit. And they can fly. But they're more expensive. It's like half of my mana there. And they're undead, so the unicorns would deal more damage against them. Haste. I kind of like haste, especially to get around the large map. Lucifer's Gift. I don't really think it's worth summoning a creature just to explode it to deal damage. Subversion. A tape to take control of an enemy creature. It's pretty cheap, that. But, Where's the, bow? There's the bow. Because that's kind of annoying, but also it's rather useful. Berry I don't think is useful because we're not fighting against undead. So we may as well take the Scythian bow. Magic Sphere. Maybe Gorgon Stare? Petrify a target? I'm not using any of these creatures. Phoenixes, I guess they explode. And they're pretty cheap, but they're quite weak. But they're mostly just sent in for bombs. Cerberus explode as well, but they don't set things on fire. They're a bit more expensive too. Crocodiles have got good hit points. I can maybe use them to deal with holding a position, but kind of want to take Griffins because he's making good use of them. Ornithopter, I don't think that's actually that useful. We can fly around, but again, it's all inside, so it doesn't really matter. Tornado. Levitate. Wait. Oh, hang on. You can see up there the rings. It shows how much mana I require to cast the spells, and it doesn't have any around the creature, around the Champion of Law. It's because I don't have enough mana to be able to cast that. So, you're gonna go now, Wakes? Well, thank you very much for joining. I'll be going soon. I'm just giving this a think over, and then I'll call it for tonight. A Wraith. I haven't found them to be too useful. But swap that out for the Spying Eye. They're not too weak. They can see invisible creatures. We're not really... No, he was casting invisibility every now and then, wasn't he? Hang on. Let me have a look at something. Okay, so there is at least one more ingredient which we're missing out on, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I did miss one somewhere. What would those spells have been? Let's see. Bloodlust, Earthbind, and Lure. That would have been kind of useful. Bloodlust especially, to deal more damage. Okay, well. That's in one of the levels. Casting Bloodlust on the knights would be nice. I thought I was being pretty thorough. Oh dear, pardon me. I kind of want to keep Judgment just because it's a really nice... Everything just potentially dies. Especially for the large groups of creatures he summons. I guess I'll keep the dragon. Magic Mist. What, that confuses creatures? It affects mine as well, doesn't it? Okay, so creatures with high intelligence resist it. Griffins, they got intelligence 15. Knights, 18. Unicorns, 13. Dragons, 50 intelligence. So it would potentially affect his unit's magic mist more than mine. Skeletons are pretty stupid though, and I like relying on them. I could also have zombies. Actually, skeletons are cheaper than zombies. Can I cast Meteor Shower inside? I don't think so, actually. I think it's like lightning storm. Lightning I can't cast inside either. Yeah, a roof will get in the way. And I think the meteors is the same. Outside it's useful, inside it's not. Since most of it's inside, I prefer, as I've said, something which would be always useful. This is where I take Fireball, but again, but Cure. My idea is that I can use Fear to just keep the enemy troops away from my points. Because I just protecting them when I'm not there is the problem. Because then I'm tied down, and at that point, it's just going to be I get overwhelmed. I could summon Creatures of Chaos, actually, but that's basically all of my mana. And I did summon a single dragon, and that was cheaper last time, so... I guess before the last section, I should try more to, like, take over parts of the castle. Let's see, what's it say about Fireball? Doesn't say anything. I'm pretty sure Fireball is the way which you can deal with statues, aside from Lightning. I can't cast Lightning inside, then I would like Fireball to be able to get rid of those get rid of those totems, because he doesn't seem to re-summon the totems, so if I could start knocking those down, that's good. However, yeah. Also, it's kind of useful because the pestilence down there I can make use of. And the healing ones is only in that area around near where he is. Okay, well. Let's save it there. And we'll continue with Dinas Emrys, which we didn't even read the entry about. Next time. We'll read the entry for it next time. Yeah. Quit it there, and we'll continue with Magic and Mayhem, and most likely finish it next time. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope you'll join me then.